Hello and welcome to another episode of 5 Lives, 5 Styles. And did you see that thunderstorm? That was crazy. I don't think I've ever seen a thunderstorm like that. And it was striking so much on this one mountain. Ow, I didn't put my elytra on. Since it was striking so much on this one mountain over here, I feel like we should check it out. What is this? What? A different time? If this book finds you, then you will soon be visited. Oh boy. Let's read it, shall we? They wrote it ahead of time? Evil? They've been studying it for centuries. Diseases, plagued. It's bigger than it is. It's traveling on dimensions. And it's coming from me? No more time. Find it before it finds you. Good luck, Time Whiz. Oh my, this is not good. This is bad news. What do we do? Does it say anything about it? This book should appear near a place of great power and knowledge. This pool? I mean, I wonder what it is. Maybe we should just move in and find out? What is that? What's going on? Well, I don't know what all of that means, so maybe if you have any idea, can you help me figure this out? Please give me any suggestion of what you think this might mean, because I am lost. I have no idea. I need to find this before it finds me? Well, I better just focus on what I was going to build anyway. The port is waiting. I need to finish it. I want to finish it. So let's go ahead and do that first. And in the meantime, we can think about what this thing that we need to find is before the evil being finds us. And we're going to start right here where we left off last time. We built the market, and then we built the tavern over here. And now what we're going to build right here is going to be a bakery. And then next to it, I'm not quite sure what the interior is going to be of this building, but we want a nice wooden building similar to that one right next to it. And the other half is now also complete because I was being a bit of an idiot. I forgot to press record. Oh my goodness. Anyway, now that we have this beautiful addition of the bakery building on this side, with a small entrance here that currently doesn't lead anywhere. This is a bit of a fake building. Then over here we have a building with no purpose yet. I also have no idea what I will put in here, so any ideas are absolutely welcome. Because there are, of course, plenty of small market stalls and shops all around the port. So this one is still open for business, you could say. And there we go, another house completed. I also added a cart here in front, and I really like this street that is forming now. I want to curve this around these buildings and have a small slope all the way up here. Now, of course, here we have my Shoko monster, and this is where we're going to build another building next. Of course, here we have a path that I closed off in the last episode, and this is going to be the new path that is going to be a bit of a smaller path, and I want this to be next to a few buildings and then connect over to the old path over there. Something I really like about this building is how the walls and the logs sort of create a bit of depth, because you have the walls that are obviously a little bit thinner, and that creates this really cool effect. This cart, however, is missing one thing: a horse. Now, luckily, there were a few horses nearby that I managed to grab, so let's go ahead and grab a few. Which one of you wants to be on a cart? Let's go. You. Oh, let me grab that one. No, 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 I don't want to do that. No. Oh no, why? Oh no. Oh no! How do these leads work? Oh god, now they're leaded together. You know? Did not want to do that. Now I need a scissors, don't I? Oh, well that worked, I think. Now, how about this one? Can I just put a new lead on him? Oh, well there we go. I think it's solved now. There we go. We don't need those leads. Let's put you on the cart. I think this is one of the slower horses that I found, so let's put him on the cart. And there it is. You go over here. Wonderful. Now we have a little bit of life here in the street. I thought it would be nice to have something in the street to also identify that there is going to be some movement, right? We got a little bit of cargo moving through the streets. So I moved most of the boxes now. Let's go ahead and clear up the grass here and make this look a lot better. I also extended the acacia wood down all the way to stone, so now this building looks a little bit more in place. And of course, this corner is now going to be tackled by me, because I want to build a small little warehouse here. And as you may have noticed when I built the walls, this part wasn't really finished. I left it kind of open because I already was planning to make a building that was part of the wall, just like I did with the castle over there. I really like this addition to the port. It took me a little bit of time to figure out what color to go for with this tower. I initially wanted something more orangey or like the copper, and at first I kind of liked it, but later I went back and changed it to this cyan and the warped wood. And I honestly really like that. If we zoom out a little bit, of course, we have a little bit of that cyan and blue/green on the walls of the port, but now we also have a little bit of that coming back in the back of the port. Of course, mostly we've been using the dark oak, the mangrove, and some of the deep slate, but now we have a little bit of hint of that blue-green in the back. I really like that, and for the next few buildings, I wanted to experiment with a little bit of color as well. And so I am going to go ahead and try and bring that orange back. So that's the building that's going to come over here. Now, with the road being this high and this level of the port being over here, this road is of course going to lead up next to this beautiful wooden warehouse. I want this road to extend next to a few buildings, then of course connect here. And so these buildings are going to be mainly on this floor, at least for 2 of them. Another building complete, and also a small alleyway now. Of course, later we'll add some detail here, but this is already a nice complete path, and you can see how this now feels a lot more busy. And we have, of course, here the overhang that later on will get a bit more detail, and then over there maybe a tree or something. Now we got a bit of empty space here. 1 or 2 buildings are gonna go over here. The next one is gonna be a blacksmith. And I am thinking of doing a little bit of a different shape. Now for this one, of course, we had different colors, like we introduced the orange and a little bit of that copper. I decided to also change the roof to be slightly different. We have, of course, the deep slate roof over here. This one is just a slight variation. And I really like how the copper really just puts an accent on it, like a bit of tear, and it works perfectly. The pale wood is also really starting to become one of my favorite colors. I have used it here for this building and for this building, but for this one I decided to not start with a layer of stone at the bottom and just go straight into this. I really do like that. It makes it a little bit different. And then of course for the window, I decided to make it a bit of a bigger window than some of the other ones, and the shape and everything of this building turned out great. So now for the blacksmith, I'm gonna go ahead and use some mangrove, because it's been a while since we used that, so let's go ahead and do that. And instead of doing yet another time lapse, I'm going to be showing you small snippets of me building this and some of the next buildings. Some interesting things for this building: I started using the glass panes to detail the roof a little bit more. Then of course we finished the build with some details in the actual blacksmith area with an oven and some tools. The next building over, I want to start out, and first I make a few windows, and then in front of the windows a small overhang. Next up we transition with the acacia into the pink cherry wood. And then finally we finish it off with a roof of birch and smooth sandstone. And the last of the buildings is now also complete, but this one I decided to go with a different color, a color that I don't really see myself using all that often, because surprise, surprise, I'm not really a big fan of pink. However, for this one I wanted to go with lighter tones. However, to use white again would have been a bit of a repetitive thing here, to use white, white and more white. So I decided to go with pink that is pretty close to white, but also pretty close to red. So yeah, for that. And then for the roof, I decided to also keep it somewhat lighter and went with the birch in combination of the smooth sandstone. Now, this giant hole here, of course, needs to be covered. And since this is sort of the entry to the port, I thought what would be perfect here. And that is, of course, a stable. Luckily, over here I have already gathered a few horses from a nearby plains that are perfect to go into the stalls. Oh, they can't even go in there. Whoops. Well, I guess I'll have to adjust this a little bit so they maybe have a double gate. But yeah, there we go. We have a little bit of a stables now. And, well, we have 2 live horses to make this entrance a little bit more interesting. Now, another thing I want to do here is add some trees, and of course, that is not done. But before we do that, this empty spot needs a warehouse. We have, of course, some construction work going on here, so this is going to be a beautiful spot to store a lot of things. This is now my favorite warehouse that I've built. I mean, it's also the second warehouse that I've built. I really like how this fills up the space. It's quite open and at the same time very busy. I really like it. It's a nice storage space, and I don't think I'll actually store anything here, but at least it gives the impression that this place is being worked at. Of course, we have the crane with the wood over here, and now this place is actually being used to store all kinds of things. And now it's time to finally tackle the last bit here, and it's mostly some details. Of course, I would like to finish up the pathing and detail the flooring a little bit, so not just stone. We want some stone brick and broken bricks and blend it with the path a little bit. And then what I also would like to do is build some trees, especially here in the middle. This is a nice big open square. I would love to have like a big tree over here. So there you see how I added a couple of trees. It definitely adds a lot to the streets. Now this tree behind me is a little bit bigger than the other ones. One thing that I am not really happy with yet is, as you can see right here, it's a little bit thin. I think what will solve this is we have this branch here that is rather short. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend that a lot further and then extend the leaves as well, and then we fill up the leaves in between them, and then this should be a lot more chunky and feel a little bit more weighted. So then hopefully it's not so much a very flat tree. And of course we added a few mushrooms. So yeah, let's go ahead and add that branch. That's already a lot better. Yeah, it looks much more like a full tree. So yeah, there we go. All of the trees are done. Let's go ahead and look at them. We've got one over here, and we've got a small one over here. Oh, it's missing some ferns. Let's go ahead and add one. There we go. Then we got another small one over here with a bit of a bend sideways. Then a bit of a taller one here. A very thin and tall tree. I like it. And we added a bit of a lamp in the middle so that we have some light centered on the tree, and also makes this square lit up properly, and we don't have to use a lot of lichen to light up the place. And then the last one that we added is around here next to this little house. We added a small one here. So yeah, that's all of the trees. And now if we go ahead and zoom out, we can see the final result of the port. Man, this was a humongous project, and with all of the terraforming and all of the building that we've done, I haven't even touched the interiors of most of these buildings, and I would love to do them. I don't really have any ideas for them, but I feel like that's just gonna take a lot more time, and this is already the second episode after we have died a couple of times, and we really need to move on to this new style, and I kind of am running out of ideas here. So without further ado, I think this is going to be the last episode of this style, and next episode we're gonna move into the new style. What style it's gonna be, I hinted at it already a little bit ago, but you'll see in the next episode. Alright, that is it for this episode. If you like this episode, please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one.